a general contractor on staff to direct repairs and improvements, and real estate brokerage services tailored to the small investor. If you're ready to invest in rental property or just need professionals to manage your real estate portfolio, call us, CCL Management, at 608-833-0009 or visit us on the web at cclmanagement.com.
Hi, I'm Bill Furman, owner of William Thomas Jewelers. For the last 22 years, I have pursued my life's passion, custom jewelry and helping to educate my clients. If people understood what's in my heart, they would know how badly I want their creation to please them or the person they love. Give me a call at 232-1600 or find examples of my life's passion and our unique creations at williamthomas.com.
Brad Zog, owner of Zero Res Madison. You say a healthy home starts with clean carpets. Winter is coming and there's going to be lots of people cooped up inside. What would you tell them?
Now's the best time to get the carpets cleaned. A lot of people don't know that carpet is the largest filter in your house, so it attracts all that dirt and funk and junk, and you need to get that cleaned. You're going to be living with that for the next couple months.
Zero Res. Spell it forward or backward. It's the right way to clean. Call them now. 608-848-9000. ZeroResMadison.com.
The following program is a presentation of DC Communications, LLC. Warning, you are about to listen to the greatest radio show ever. And due to contractual obligations and to shield our airwaves corporate licensees from any semblance of liability, responsibility, and gullibility, we must tell you the views represented on this show are not necessarily those of this station or its management. This radio show contains differing points of view on current political topics, and due to the nature of its contents, it should be heard by everyone. Thank you for listening.
3, 2, 1.
Now live from the heart of liberal Wisconsin, where the political party is just beginning, welcome to the Devil's Advocate Show. Best friends proving it's never personal, only politics.
Please allow me to introduce myself.
Now here are your hosts, Dom and Crute.
Welcome to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. Dominic, it's the first day of the rest of your life.
Happy days, Crudy. Good to be back in studio with you, my dear friend, in Madison, Wisconsin.
Well, we're back, man, and there was a big march in Madison, Wisconsin. I'm not sure that I heard you on the mic, Dom. You might want to switch mics quickly. Hold on. He says, hold on. Try a different mic. We got a few mics in here. We were at one hell of a rally. One hell of a rally. Now you're breaking stuff. We were at one hell of a rally in Washington, D.C. this weekend, Dominic. I don't think I've ever seen that sort of humanity all in one place. And I don't mean at the inauguration.
I was going to say, Crudy, way more people as far as I was concerned. Way more people as far as I was concerned. At the women's rally, just my own thoughts as we walked through the streets, as we got on the subways, we looked around, our experiences, Crudy, inauguration night to women's march in D.C., not even close.
Well, I can tell you, up until I started seeing the women in the pink hats coming into the bar on Friday night, it was sort of a boring city to be in. Sort of a dark tone. And wherever the Republicans were going to party, you apparently had to pay big money, and we were not invited. But we could not find anyone partying in D.C. Well, present company excluded. Well, we were having a good time.
We always have a good time, Crudy. Talking to some of the bartenders and service folks in the area, Wednesday night was a normal Wednesday night. Thursday night was just a Thursday night. It was not that busy.
Well, and the Metro ridership on Friday, we got on the Metro riding down to the inauguration, and it's pick any seat you want. It was far from standing room only, and I'm walking down. And we've been to other events. I know we talked about this a little bit on Friday. But, Dominic, we've been to other events where it's just a convention or something. And the subways are jammed. People are riding the mass transit. Not so much at the Trump rally. Not so much at the inauguration. And we made note of it. And even walking to the gate, there was no line for the porta potties. That was the first giveaway that something was going on. If you got millions of people and here are lines and lines of porta potties, and nobody's using them, Tom.
Sanitation, the spray in there
They
was
still smell
full.
clean.
Yeah, I know.
They still smelled relatively clean. I did not linger, but no, I mean, no bathroom lines. And then we get inside, and it was easy to get through, relatively speaking. Still had to go through a TSA style, even though they lied to us and stole our umbrellas, Tom.
You bastards!
I blame Donald Trump.
Well, it was actually a little slow getting in because we had to walk behind, of course, Dog the Bounty Hunter, Crudy. I don't know if you know this, but of course, we got a photo up. We talked about that last week. But he was walking in with, I'd have to call it a staff. I mean, he literally had a big walking cane, like Gandalf from Lord of the Rings, as he was walking in. He wasn't a fast-moving man. So that was the only real slowdown we experienced.
But our contracting hand-size fold-up umbrellas, they were not permitted.
Not allowed.
I blame you. You look like a hippie.
Hey, the news said it.
Well, anyway, so we go there, and I look back, and quite frankly, I'm going to give Trump only this small credit. From the perspective of the Capitol looking back towards the Washington Monument, it looked like a mass of humanity. I mean, it's kind of like trying to judge the size of the concert crowd from the mosh pit. It looks jammed up here. And, of course, we've all now seen in retrospect on those, the Washington Monument looking back towards the Capitol, and you can see all the gaps, all the open spots, but that's not the point. It still looked like a lot of people, but the streets were relatively unimpeded, and the subways, they were damn near wide open. This is 90 minutes before inauguration time. And we got to our seats readily, and we sat in the back, and there were some empty seats even in the seated. I mean, these are senator seats. These are the good ones.
Section 11. There were lots of empty seats back there. But what do you expect from the back of the class?
And then Saturday morning, we get up, man, and you go out, and there was energy on the streets. You could feel it immediately as soon as we walked out of the hotel. And we got there, and we started walking towards, 4th and Independence. And it was jammed. We started running into people really quick. I mean, we taxied nearby. And then it was like fighting your way upstream against humanity. And it didn't matter what direction you were going because somebody was going the opposite direction at any given time. It was just overwhelming. And they all had pink hats on, Dom. And they all had correctly spelled grammatical signs of very clever nature. I mean, there were thousands and hundreds of thousands of signs. And that was the most amazing experience I've ever been involved with up close and personal. I mean, I've been to some big sporting events, things of that nature, where you get a big crowd and you feel that rush. But that crowd, it's like it realized. It was like it realized it had tentacles, and it could, the sound, it would just go up, and people would respond, and they didn't realize they'd never been involved in this sort of mass of humanity. And I would say it's mostly filled with love and energy in women.
Lots of women.
Overwhelmingly, it was women and children and females, and there were men involved, but it was overwhelmingly women, and they had this wonderful positive vibe. And by the end of the middle of the day, and I am so sorry, we have been promising a live stream, and the women, I blame them. Too many women in DC that they completely overwhelmed the technology, the cell phones, the Facebook. You couldn't.
The hot spots. There's no way to get a signal out.
There was no way for us to
Unless
do
we
what
hijacked a satellite truck or something like that.
You would have had to bring CNN and a satellite truck. Yes, you could not literally get sound or energy or cell phone out of there. But it was a wonderful experience, Tom. And I got to tell you, I was down all week. Not just the inauguration of Trump, but the damn Republicans that put him in this position. And they weren't really having any fun. And I wasn't having any fun trying to go chase them. I wasn't going to the ball. But Saturday was a hell of a lot of fun. And eventually, we went to the oldest bar in Washington, D.C.
Old Ebbets, my new
Grill.
favorite bar.
And we sat plunked down right on third base, corner of the bar. And we had a good time, and we did not leave for hours. We could see the parade marchers. They came up Pennsylvania Avenue right past the window. And I got plenty of Jocelyn around.
Well, and I would also note, Crudy, we picked that location randomly at the 1 block from the planned tail end of the original Women's March on D.C. Well, my understanding was there were so many people they really didn't do the march, and as the thing wound down later in the afternoon, after hours and hours of people continuing to walk by up Independence Street, Crudy, that wasn't part of the route, man. No, there was nowhere to go. You couldn't possibly walk on the sidewalks. They just took the street over.
Yeah, every street was overwhelmed. Downtown D.C. completely overwhelmed with primarily women in good spirits and looking for a fight with the president-elect. Now the president, the 45th president of the United States. Wonderful atmosphere. We went into Abbott's Grill. We watched some of the speakers on CNN, and we eventually watched marchers go by through the window, and we saw some Republicans. And they were kind of hiding out, weren't they? They were still in D.C., but...
you got to get some lunch before you get on the plane, I guess.
They didn't want to be, out amongst the people, you might say. And Dominic, we did have the opportunity to meet the GOP chairman of the state of Wisconsin. He got fooled. He saw my Badger hat, and he came right over and plunked down, "Hey, you guys are from Wisconsin?"
Yeah!
Brad Courtney. And I'm thinking, I know who you are, Brad. Here's the problem.
I'm glad you did. I had no idea.
Oh, well, I never expect that you do, sir. But I knew who Brad Courtney was, and he was, gracious to us, and we didn't really get heavy and deep into the politics, per se. Talk more Packers. But that day, we met him, and then we saw this tall gentleman, I use that term loosely in this case, wearing a cowboy hat, African-American, about 6'5", looks like he should have been starting in the Packer game. It's your own Sheriff David A. Clark Jr., Dom.
My new arch nemesis.
Buddy, this guy's been on this show a couple times. Last time when he joined us, he said, I really like you guys. I bet he wouldn't like us so much anymore, Dom.
You don't think so?
Because
I've taken some exception to some of the things he tweets out. Imagine that.
Well, we're going to talk about Sheriff David A. Clark Jr., Milwaukee County's own. This guy's a Fox News fixture. Hell, he got passed over for Homeland Security. Trump thought about making him a cabinet secretary as a, Milwaukee sheriff.
Yeah.
And by the way, the phone lines are open right now. We'd love to hear about anyone's experience. I know there were millions of you out there marching. 844-967-2789. But we're going to talk about not just the march in this wonderful march, Don, but also the response of Donald Trump and Sean Spicer, his new press secretary. And we all lie that the inauguration was the greatest, biggest damn party of all time. We're apparently the crooked media, Dom. But I got to tell you, it's going great for the Trump administration, according to the Trump administration.
Yeah, just ask them.
And we know that they don't really found their assertions in, what do you call them, facts, Dom, because they got alternatives facts.
Isn't that convenient?
It is. We'll talk more about that as well. We are the Devil's Advocates. Again, the phone line's open, 844-96-PARTY.
Ass, grass, or cash, nobody rides for free. Dom and Crute are the Devil's Advocates.
There is more to me, Queen Eliara of Elfgard, than my elven magic. Just as there's more to Geico than saving you money, Geico also gives you 24/7 access to licensed agents online, on the phone, or on the Geico app. And while I am a mighty elf queen, I am also a mighty big fan of barbecue potato chips. Minions! More smoky mesquite.
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
Are you putting your money into an IRA, pension, or 401k? Then I hope you're prepared to lose 30, 40, 50% or more of your retirement savings, because it's not a question of if the market crashes again. It's a question of when. It's going to happen. Did you know there is a way you can protect and grow your wealth safely and predictably every single year? The people using this approach didn't lose a penny when the market crashed in 2000 or 2008, and they won't lose a penny in the next crash. In fact, their money will continue to grow safely year in and year out, even when stocks, real estate, and other investments tumble. A free report detailing this savings program is now available. This free report shows how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and wealth-building power without risking your retirement in the Wall Street casino. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement. It far outperforms any IRA or 401k. To get this free report, visit bankonyourself.com. That's bankonyourself.com. Bankonyourself.com.
There is no better way to make a more comfortable home for the new year than a visit to the semi-annual white sale going on now at thecompanystore.com. From our famous lacrosse down comforters and pillows to the finest quality sheets, towels, bedding basics, and home decor, you'll find everything you need to stay warm in winter and then start spring with style. Receive 20% off your entire order and get free shipping when you enter the code radio17 at checkout. Thecompanystore.com. We're all about comfort.
Hi, I'm Anton Capella. As Chief Technology Officer at Five Nines, it's my job to make sure your network is up 99.999% of the time. Technology is constantly evolving, and keeping your business up to date in an ever-changing environment can be a hassle. At Five Nines, we're here to help. Five Nines is more than just our name. It's the level of service you can expect. Better IT gives your business a competitive advantage. Learn how Five Nines can help at fivenines.com. That's the number 5, NINES.com.
Hey, Devil's Advocate Radio fans. Well, the election is over. If your candidate won, you're rejoicing. If your candidate lost, probably not. Thankfully, when it comes to your hiring decisions, you can always pick the winner. For over 20 years, that's 5 election cycles. Cadre has been helping businesses pick winners. Time to make that call. Cadre, 608-203-8511. Cadre, Wisconsin's premier staffing service since 1994.
Do you own a rental property, or would you like to partner with a rental investment team? Call the pros you can trust at CCL Management. Rental expertise second to none, a general contractor on staff to direct repairs and improvements, and real estate brokerage services tailored to the small investor. If you're ready to invest in rental property, or just need professionals to manage your real estate portfolio, call us, CCL Management, at 608-833-0009, or visit us on the web at cclmanagement.com.
The Devil's Advocates may not agree on much.
Jared Carmichael, comedian extraordinary. You got a NBC show being picked up, The Carmichael Show.
Yes, sir. Yes,
That's
sir.
big stuff, man.
Yes.
You're going to be rich.
We'll see. It's fun. It's like such a fun process.
And what will be your next step? I mean, do you go out and you get the Lincoln Town Car? What comes next?
The Lincoln Town Car?
Well,
what are we, famous in the 80s?
But funny is funny. The Devil's Advocates. Political commentary from the back of the class.
And we are back. Thank you so much for listening. Please check us out on Facebook, The Devil's Advocates Radio. You can follow us on Twitter at Devil Radio, and the phone lines are open. 844-967-2789.
I got to tell you, Dominic, Saturday, I was probably the most encouraged I have been since Election Day. Yeah. I mean, it's been
I agree, yeah.
dark at the Crudy household. You wouldn't want to live with me in the short run.
Kicking the dog, grounding the kids.
The dogs don't even come around anymore. So anyways, Saturday, I took tremendous encouragement, not just because of Washington, D.C., and I mean, over 500,000 people. The entire city of D.C. is like 600,000.
I mean, if you can trust those numbers. I mean, that's what the media's been reporting.
Something like that. Well, I trusted because I was there and I saw both crowds, Dom, and it was a massive, overwhelming crowd, and the subways were jammed, et cetera, et cetera. But this energy, this new, what is it? What's it reflective of? And it wasn't just D.C., I mean, massive rallies all around the country, all around the world. Right here in my hometown, Madison, Wisconsin. And we know a little something about protests. And they turned out on Saturday. Facebook, there were like 16,000 people that said they were going to show up. Police estimate, 75 to 100,000 people on the Wisconsin Capitol. And I know we were not the only place or the only ones. Looking around the country, New York, massive, Boston, over in the West, Phoenix, hell, Tucson. I talked to a friend in Tucson today. They said there was a nice-sized rally, like 60,000 people.
Los Angeles had
Tucson.
A huge turnout as well.
Well, perhaps this is just the beginning of a greater movement, and it needs to be, people. It cannot be a one-off event. We can't all say, what a great day that was. You remember when we all stood up and resisted Trump together? and then we did nothing about it. Now's the doing something about it part. Now is what comes next, and I question what comes next. And we need what I would describe as a Democratic Tea Party, and we need it now, and it starts today. Today's Monday, and the phones are ringing. Let's get to them. 844-967-2789. Betsy from Madison. Welcome, Betsy. How you been?
Oh, guys, I've got the yucks. There's yucks going around. I hope you stay well. But one thing I wanted to say is that, when you said that it rained on Donald Trump when he stepped up to the podium.
Just only when Trump literally gave his inaugural speech. Now, it wasn't a downpour, but it started dribbling just enough that Dom and I looked at each other, and after he's talking about the carnage that America has become, we walked out in the middle of Trump's speech. We didn't see any reason to stay for the rest. So we got up and we started walking towards the exits. We figured we'd get a head start on the really big, massive crowd.
Indeed. Well, I did some research a little bit. If you guys would look up Proverbs 26, that's Trump to a T.
Well, I don't have my Bible real handy, Betsy. What does Proverbs 26 say?
It says, praise for a fool who is out of place, like snow in summer or rain at harvest time. Curses cannot hurt you unless you deserve them. They are like birds that fly by the never light. You have to whip a horse, you have to bridle a donkey, and you have to beat a fool. If you answer a silly question, you are just as silly as the person who asked it. Give a silly answer to a silly question, and the one who asked it will realize that he is not as smart as he thinks. If you let a fool deliver a message, you might as well cut off your own feet if you are asking for trouble. A fool can use a proverb about as well as a crippled people can use their legs. Praising someone who is stupid makes as much sense as trying to stone in a sling. A fool quoting a wise saying reminds you of a drunk trying to pick a thorn out of his hand. An employer who hires any fool that comes along is only hurting everybody concerned.
Hey, Betsy. Hey, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Read it.
But my atheist partner over here is going into palpitations with all this biblical reading, my friend. So,
sorry, Dom. I didn't mean to make you crazy.
No, that's all right.
It is like Freaky Friday.
Betsy, let's just be very clear. Are you insinuating by the reading of that passage that you believe our president is a fool?
I do. I cannot. When Falwell said it rained on him for blessings, I had to do something because that is not what happened. And I know I sound really like Jesus freak and everything, but I'm not. I mean, I love the Lord, but Dom, we got really weird stuff going on.
Yeah, that we do. Betsy, thank you so much for your call, as always. And whatever gets you through the night, girl, I'm not one to judge. I just get a little weird when, government embraces that, like, Mike Pence.
I know I saw at least 4 horsemen in the inaugural parade, leading the Trumpster through the streets of D.C.
Somebody had to be there, Curdy, because I think the story not reported were the empty bleachers along the parade route. Oh my goodness, why wasn't anybody there? Where's that story?
There were more horses and horse people and horsemen of the apocalypse in that parade than there were people watching the inaugural parade. Folks, we are the Devil's Advocates. We'll come back with more of your phone calls at 844-967-2789. The revolution starts now.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that
may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-616-5020. That's 800-616-5020. 800-616-5020.
I was on Zero Res Madison's Facebook page the other day, and they have almost 2,000 testimonials from local customers. Apparently, I'm not the only one stoked on how cool this company is. A green technology that actually works better and doesn't cost more, it's a no-brainer, I'm in. We are starting our own Devil's Advocates revolution to free your carpets from harsh chemicals and soaps. Call Zero Res today and ask for the Dom and Crute special 608-848-9000 or schedule online at ZeroResMadison.com. Zero Res, spell it forward or backward, it's the right way to clean.
Hi, I'm Anton Capella. As Chief Technology Officer at Five Nines, I work hard to be a leader in my industry, and I know the challenges posed by changing technology. It's my priority to make sure your network is up over 99% of the time. There's no question, trying to manage your own business IT is risky, costly, and time-consuming. Don't let IT overwhelm you. Learn more about Five Nines at fivenines.com. That's the number 5, NINES.com.
This is Lisa Kurzweil, CEO of Cadre. This message is directed to anyone looking for office or professional employment today. Cadre has hundreds of immediate openings in Wisconsin, many of which are not advertised. Time to call Cadre. We want to tell you about these openings and assist you with your job search. For over 20 years, Cadre has been helping people find employment in the office environment. Time to make that call. Cadre, 608-203-8511. Cadre, Wisconsin's premier staffing service since 1994.
Have you outgrown your house? Are you sick of apartment living? Not ready to buy but know you need to move? Hi folks, this is Tom Hartman for CCL Management in Middleton. You should consider moving up to one of the finer rental homes CCL Management represents. Unique houses and condos, always clean, most are pet friendly. Visit cclmanagement.com today to find your new home. CCL Management, Dane County's premier leasing and property management company.
Call CCL Management at 833-0009. That's 833-0009 or visit cclmanagement.com today.
When you need an attorney, trust the voice of experience. The only choice, Lawton and Cates.
Criminal traffic matters, misdemeanors, felonies. Being charged with a crime can harm your personal relationships and cost you your job. Experienced criminal defense lawyers at Lawton & Cates have a long history of providing strong, aggressive representation for individuals facing criminal charges. We will pursue your defense to ensure the best possible outcome. Don't let a mistake cost you more than it should. If your life is disrupted by criminal charges or other legal dispute, Lawton & Cates can help you achieve a successful result. Trust the voice of experience. Call the attorneys at Lawton & Cates, 282-6200, 282-6200.
When you need an attorney, trust the voice of experience. The only choice, Lawton and Cates.
The Devil's Advocates, because freedom.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. The phone lines are open. We're going back there momentarily. That number, 844-967-2789. Dom, I am on womensmarch.com. It's not a one-off. They've got a plan of action. I'm going to read briefly here. First of all, thank you to the millions of people around the world who on January 21st came together to raise our voices. But our march forward does not end here. Now is the time to get our friends, family, and communities together and make history all bold. Join us in launching a new campaign, 10 actions for the first 100 days. And I've got number one, Dom.
Lay it on me, brother.
Bear with me. Action number one, according to the womensmarch.com, you can look it up, womensmarch.com. Action number one, the first action. Write a postcard to your senators about what matters to you and how you're going to continue to fight for it in the days, weeks, and months ahead, we're offering printable postcards for you to download. You can go it alone, or you can consider inviting some friends, neighbors, and fellow marchers over for a drink or dinner or a smoke sometime in the next 10 days and talk about your experience and fill out your postcards.
Excellent idea.
Step 1, get the cards. Get the official card printed, see below, design your own, or be one of the 10,000 people who can get a free Women's March postcard using InkCard app. Well, anyways, they're pushing some other things. But most importantly, write a postcard to your senator. That is recommendation number 1 by the womensmarch.com. Our recommendation, call us right now, 844-967-2789, especially if you were at one of the many marches worldwide. We're going to start with Tom in Phoenix. Tom, how you doing, man? Did you see the big march? I hear they had quite a turnout in Phoenix.
Yeah, it was fantastic. They projected 6,000 and over 20,000 showed up.
That's awesome, man.
Nice. Down. Unbelievable. And for an uber-conservative place like Arizona, it was very heartening. And the people were very energized, very friendly, like you've been saying. It was very heartening.
Tom, Arizona does not have to be red forever. Mitt Romney won that state by 9%. Trump won that state by 3.6%. And judging by the phone calls we're getting out of your fine state, Tom, I got to think there are plenty of great progressives, and they ain't all women.
No, I'm hoping that. And I think that's true. I think it's turning the corner a little bit, and we desperately need it.
Now, Tom, what's the next step? Other than the postcard to your senator, how are you getting involved? Did you speak with any people there at the march, and how do they plan to stay involved beyond Saturday?
Well, I didn't speak to anybody of authority, but it was discussed. But the biggest thing I heard was Michael Moore's encouragement to brush your teeth, have a cup of coffee, and call your congressman every day. And that's the program I'm on.
Oh, I often call my congresspeople, but most of them are already on my team, Tom. Any other thoughts?
Not out here.
Keep up fighting, Tom.
Yeah, well, I thought Ruben Gallego was your congressman in Phoenix, Tom.
Well, I'm thinking of our senators, Flake and McCain. You know, this is a great opportunity for McCain to really establish a legend and stand up. And they had a lot of signs that said, McCain, man up. And that's what should happen. He has nothing to lose. This is his last shot.
Tom, I completely agree, and I hear Jeff Flake is quite vulnerable. If not from the left, I hear he's vulnerable from the right.
I only hope so. Well, we'll work on it. We're not done. You're absolutely right.
Tom, thanks for listening out in Phoenix. Next up on the phones, and that phone number again, 844-967-2789, is Chris in Sun Prairie, Wisconsin. I bet you were marching, Chris. Welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Hi. Oh, I'm doing very well today. I'm extraordinarily happy. This weekend was so empowering. It's just it was a great experience.
You sound energized, Chris.
Yeah, you do.
I feel great. It's so great to be out there. We had 100,000 people in the street in Madison, Wisconsin. We had 65% of our population turn out. I mean, that is just extraordinary. We've had a lot of practice here, so I think that's part of it. But I'm so glad you guys were in D.C. because I need you to give me a little bit of proof of those crowds. I'm having a little bit of an argument with one of Mitch's guys.
Oh, I thought I saw something on social media. You can't trust that George. He's got his alternative facts. I can tell you this, Chris. I can understand when Trump said, hey, you look out on the crowd, it looks like 1.5 million. From ground level, we were not up on the raised dais like Trump was, but from the ground level, it looked like a massive crowd at the inauguration. But from our personal experience, it wasn't busy on the streets. It wasn't busy in the subways. And I don't know where the hell all those people went for a beer after the inauguration. It wasn't where we were at. And then above and beyond that, Chris, the crowds that came into D.C., I mean, the throng came for hours and hours. I mean, I think the rally started at 10. We were seemingly miles away from the rally stage by 11 o'clock, let's say, 11:30, 12 o'clock. We're moving farther and farther away, trying to get out of the sea of humanity, and it never stopped coming, Chris.
People kept on coming. The farther we got away from the main stage, we kept passing people that were still getting there.
By the thousands. I mean, it wasn't a few here and there, Chris. I mean, this was massive, and I would say it was... I've seen 100,000 people in Madison, Wisconsin before. I've seen, massive football stadiums full of 80 to 100,000 people and seen those crowds then pour out on the streets immediately. Chris, it was far beyond anything I can comprehend being in that sea of humanity. Tell George to call us. Trust us. Believe me, Chris, it was a massive crowd in D.C.
Chris, let me ask you a question. Of course, Madison famously rose up several years ago against Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker, Act 10, etc. And one could question the success of any sort of political activism after the fact. What happens now? What do you intend to do now? What are you and your friends and colleagues going to do now?
The same thing that we've been doing. We're going to organize. We're going to continue to protest. We're going to continue to write our legislators. We're going to go up and we're going to testify in front of our legislators. We're going to call them out every time we can. I love what Michael Moore is suggesting, that everybody take 10 minutes every morning and get in touch with their congresspeople and let them know what they believe. And don't take for granted that your congressperson will do what you want them to do, Mike, because they don't always do it, you know? So be careful.
No, I'm still waiting
that.
for Polkan to endorse Bernie Sanders.
Right, exactly. I have to say another thing is I think that the wonderful thing about this is all the people that are going to go back home and take this home with them, the feeling that you get when you are involved in something that massive, when you have that feeling of community, it's something that it's life-changing. I think that I'm hearing that from you. It sounds to me like, I mean, you were at the biggest rally the United States has ever had. You know, I mean, that's what this was. This was one of the biggest protests ever.
Well, I have to say, Chris, The Hill has reported that Los Angeles had up to 750,000 people.
And that's life-changing. It's community-changing. Yeah. And this is what we need to do. We need to build community right now because what we have coming against us is huge. I mean, we can't kid ourselves about it. It is huge, and this is a fight. And we have to push the legislators that are in office, even if we don't like them, to do what we want them to do and to do the right thing.
Well, it all starts with each individual, Chris, and I know you've been fighting a good fight for a long time, but I think, like you, feel inspired from the weekend because I was kind of feeling depressed, Chris. I mean, it's hard to come out here and try to put a humorous spin on the Trump atrocities, but once you feel that energy from all these other people and you know you're not out here fighting it alone, it is certainly empowering, Chris. And, you know, I've always admired your efforts and hopefully will make you proud as well, Chris.
You have. You win. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks for your call.
844-967-2789. Crudy, of course, with crowds that huge, certainly there must be a reply from the president. And as he does so
and now
often,
you mean Trump. There's no president-elect
I don't even need
anymore.
to even say the last name, Crudy. He's the president, right? So here's what the presidential tweet was. Initially, quote, watched protests yesterday, but was under the impression that we just had an election. Why didn't these people vote? Celebs hurt cause badly. Now, of course, he's talking about, I guess, perhaps Madonna saying something about making reference to blowing up the White House, which she clarified apparently was a metaphor. But Trump didn't stop there, Crudy. It seems like after his initial knee-jerk
2 hours later
reaction, another tweet came out, and this is what that one said, quote, peaceful protests are a hallmark of our democracy. Even if I don't always agree, I recognize the rights of people to express their views.
Those are not the words of Trump.
If you're going to take those two and say
syllabic.
This one was written by Trump and this one was written by somebody else, which one would you say Trump wrote?
I think Kellyanne Conway may have contributed to the second quote. But then, of course, on the weekend shows, and I did get back, and it was a late night on Saturday night. We flew out of D.C. late, and we got into our respective hometowns and got up and watched the Sunday shows. Actually felt about as good as I did the whole week.
Sleeping in bed was nice.
Well, and the hangover was mostly gone.
By then. You sweated out on the plane on the way home.
But I got up and I watched Chris Wallace and Fox. And I got to tell you, I was a little amazed at the pushback by the Fox team. I mean, there was one woman from the Wall Street Journal that was still carrying the Trump bucket. But Juan Williams and Chris Wallace and the other commentators on the panel, they were basically calling the Trump administration out as liars for the press conference, that crazy Sean Spicer press conference on Saturday. I tell you what, let's take a break now. We'll give Holmes time to line them up. We'll talk a little bit about alternative facts. Trump makes them up, and his team They're with him on this, and if you don't believe their alternative facts, if you push back, they may just cut off your access, Chuck Todd, or some other appendage. Folks, we are the Devil's Advocates. Phone lines open right now all day long. Want to hear if you were at a march, if you have come back inspired. I know I certainly have been. 844-967-2789, 844-96-PARTY.
But I couldn't find a way, so I'll settle for one day to believe in you. Tell me lies. Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies.
The big and tall of political talk. Tom and Kreutz are the Devil's Advocates.
When you don't have a big marketing budget, you have to wait until the opportunity is just right. We'll consider this your opportunity alarm going off. Vistaprint's semi-annual sale has arrived with up to 50% off site-wide. Connect more with 500 business cards starting at $9.99. Deliver more with 100 postcards starting at $9.99. Stand out more with one banner starting at $7.99. Make the most of this opportunity. Go to Vistaprint.com by January 31st and enter the promo code SAVEBIG.
There is no better way to make a more comfortable home for the new year than a visit to the semi-annual white sale going on now at thecompanystore.com. From our famous lacrosse down comforters and pillows to the finest quality sheets, towels, bedding basics, and home decor, you'll find everything you need to stay warm in winter and then start spring with style. Receive 20% off your entire order and get free shipping when you enter the code Radio17 at checkout. Thecompanystore.com. We're all about comfort.
Are you putting your money into an IRA, pension, or 401k? Then I hope you're prepared to lose 30, 40, 50% or more of your retirement savings, because it's not a question of if the market crashes again. It's a question of when. It's going to happen. Did you know there is a way you can protect and grow your wealth safely and predictably every single year? The people using this approach didn't lose a penny when the market crashed in 2000 or 2008, and they won't lose a penny in the next crash. In fact, their money will continue to grow safely year in and year out, even when stocks, real estate, and other investments tumble. A free report detailing this savings program is now available. This free report shows how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and wealth-building power without risking your retirement in the Wall Street casino. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement. It far outperforms any IRA or 401k. To get this free report, visit bankonyourself.com. That's bankonyourself.com. Bankonyourself.com.
Hi, I'm Bill Furman, owner of William Thomas Jewelers. For the last 22 years, I have pursued my life's passion, custom jewelry and helping to educate my clients. If people understood what's in my heart, they would know how badly I want their creation to please them or the person they love. Give me a call at 232-1600 or find examples of my life's passion and our unique creations at williamthomas.com.
Brad Zog, owner of Zero Res Madison. You say a healthy home starts with clean carpets. Winter is coming and there's going to be lots of people cooped up inside. What would you tell them?
Now's the best time to get the carpets cleaned. A lot of people don't know that carpet is the largest filter in your house, so it attracts all that dirt and funk and junk, and you need to get that cleaned. You're going to be living with that for the next couple months.
Zero Res. Spell it forward or backward. It's the right way to clean. Call them now. 608-848-9000. ZeroResMadison.com.
Hi, I'm Todd Stryker, President and CEO of Five Nines. Have you got your head in the clouds on how to manage IT for your enterprise? We can make your dreams a reality. With our enterprise cloud technology, consulting, servers, networks, and hosting, we'll manage your IT so you can focus on running your business. Consider Five Nines your personal enterprise IT solution. Enjoy technology. For more information, visit fivenines.com. That's the number 5, NINES.com.
Milwaukee County Sheriff David Clark.
When you start to tinker with my character, my accomplishments, that's when I
fight back. And that's what Mandela Barnes did. So I looked up his bio. That's the first thing I do whenever I meet somebody or I'm talking about them. Let me see what they've accomplished in their life.
We certainly appreciate you coming on this show, but I'm shocked, sir, if you checked our bio, that you came back. But we really appreciate you doing so, Sheriff David Clark.
You guys are good. I appreciate it.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. Phone lines are open, 844-967-2789. Dom, quickly, I was texting Kelsey, my daughter in Los Angeles, over the commercial break, and I said, hey, you were at the march, right, hon? Yes. I said, were the crowds big? She said, huge.
Huge. 844-967-2789 if you want to join us. Mike in Tucson, sit tight for just a second. We want to throw out there some of the sound, the controversial sound from Sean Spicer from his presser. Not today, but from, what was this, Saturday? Let's get to it, Holmes, if you would, please. Let's play cut number 1.
Photographs of the inaugural proceedings were intentionally framed in a way, in one particular tweet, to minimize the enormous support that had gathered on the National Mall. This was the first time in our nation's history that floor coverings have been used to protect the grass in the mall.
Lie.
Okay, number 1, framed. Yeah, when you put up 2 side-by-sides and there's less people at your party, it may look like, I don't know, there's less people at your party. And Crudy, you called it not the first time they put coverings on the grass.
No, they did so at the second Obama inaugural in 2013. Not unprecedented, if you will.
A falsehood, let's call it. Let's keep going with this. Cut number 2, Sean Spicer. Not a presser, a statement.
We know that 420,000 people used the D.C. Metro public transit yesterday, which actually compares to 317,000 that used it for President Obama's last inaugural. This was the largest audience to ever witness an inauguration, period, both in person and around the globe.
Perhaps another lie. First of all, the Metro ridership and Sean Spicer admitted at today's news conference, they used some outside facts, let's call them, Dom, and they were apparently erroneous. My understanding of the Metro usage. The Metro usage on Friday, when Trump was inaugurated, was less than the average working day in the Washington, D.C. The ridership on the Metro on Saturday with the Women's March was the second greatest in the history of the city. The only time they had greater ridership was President Barack Obama's first inaugural day. And geographically speaking, here's the thing. Trump only carried 5% of the vote in D.C. Nobody from D.C. was at Trump's inauguration. Trump did not carry the vote in Northern Virginia or Southern Maryland. I mean, you had to go like 20 miles to find a community that Trump carried. So geographically, logistically speaking, it seemed very unlikely Trump was going to have the greatest attended and watched inauguration ever, Dom. But if you include smartphones and social media, and I don't know how he makes that quantification.
Specifically on the ridership, according to the New York Times, the transit system reported on Friday 570,000 riders compared to 782,000 on Inauguration Day in 2013. Let's get one more.
And that wasn't even the big one.
And this, this is kind of galling to me when a press secretary of any politician who's elected to, I don't know, I think they call it serve the people, tells the press what they have to cover. Cut 3.
Senate Democrats are stalling the nomination of Mike Pompeo and playing politics with national security. That's what you guys should be writing and covering. That this, instead of sowing division about tweets and false narratives.
Number 1, you can't tell me what to do, sir. And the tweets that we're mentioning are the ones that your boss is sending out there, and you're the one coming out here providing the false narratives that everybody's ripping on. Don't you see where the cause of this discussion is coming from?
Well, he was so definitive in ending his sentence by saying, period.
Let's get to it. 844-967-2789. If you want to be like Mike from Tucson, thanks for calling, Mike. What do you got for us today?
Happy Monday. Thanks for taking my call. I want to know where I can get my new college degree in wordsmithing from. Because we used to call it communications, but this is not communications. This is something completely different.
Propaganda.
So what, do you have to go to Hinsdale or maybe Liberty University to get this degree in wordsmithing? Because I'm afraid this is taken on. It's like the new norm now.
Mike, did you watch the Sunday shows? Did you see Kellyanne Conway talking to Chuck
I
Todd?
did, and I couldn't hardly believe my ears and eyes, much less, again, the wordsmithing and arguing with Chuck Todd. It was not even good TV or entertainment. It was something completely foreign that I've seen on these shows in a long, long time.
Well, he's dynamic. He's breaking the mold. He's Trump and only Trump. I mean, Mike, this is the new normal, apparently.
Well, that's what I'm afraid of. And when we can come up with these new words like alternative facts, I mean, talk about oxymorons.
Mike. All right, but let me ask you, given what was said on the Sunday shows and presumably from what I've seen, even the tone of some of the pushback from the media is pretty striking. Do you think that the media handled the grief they were getting from this administration effectively?
I think they began to, but the more Kellyanne and others dug their heels in, the more they kind of softened their position and tried to avoid bad TV, I believe.
Well,
that's what I got out of it anyway is it was just a big, pissing contest, for lack of a better phrase.
Well, Mike, at some point, as the person doing the interview, if you're asking questions, and we've had lots of Republicans on, Mike, and we appreciate your call, but at some point, you've got to move on. Because if they ain't going to answer the question, or they've got alternative facts, let's say, they're just not going to answer the question.
I don't know, man. I think if you see how Chuck Todd and Meet the Press push back and continue to say, you didn't answer my question, I damn near spent the whole 12, 15 minutes of trying to get her to specifically answer one question. And ultimately, this is what she said.
And you did not answer the question.
I did answer your question.
No, you did not. You did
Yes,
not
I
answer
did.
the question of why the president asked the White House press secretary to come out in front of the podium for the first time and utter a falsehood. Why did he do that? It undermines the credibility of the entire White House press office on day one.
Don't be so overly dramatic about it, Chuck. You're saying it's a falsehood, and they're giving Sean Spicer, our press secretary, gave alternative facts to that.
Don't be so overly dramatic, Michael.
I am the best looking man on radio today.
I am the tallest co-host in this studio.
We are now the #1 talk radio show in America. We surpassed Rush Limbaugh.
We are the #1 talk radio show in the world.
We'll try to go quantify. And I'm just going to point out we've got alternative facts that demonstrate.
You can never really tell how many people are listening online at downrecruit.com.
Well, we're not going to tell. That's proprietary information.
But trust us, we are the #1 most listened to radio show in the world. Welcome to Alternative Fact World.
We're huge. Come back with us. Hour 2 will also be huge. 844-967-2789. The phone lines are always open to the biggest audience worldwide.
Tell me, baby, why do you take my time?
Hello, I'm Chad Heller, General Manager at CCL Management. For the last 30 years, when Dane County has needed finer rental housing, it has turned to one company, CCL Management. We represent the nicest homes, condos, and duplexes, most formerly owner-occupied. And if you need a home and don't want to buy, call Dane County's premier leasing and property management company, CCL Management. We can be contacted at 608-833-0009 or visit us on the web.